Old heads versus Gen Z in a basketball debate. I gotta watch that. Old head, Chilltown Hoops. I'm sure if you're on TikTok, you've been on TikTok for 5+ years, you know who this guy is. 10 Gen Z fans, probably casuals, probably idiots, probably not gonna be able to, deliver our argument. I mean, I'm a zillennial, right? I'm 1997, late 97 born, so I guess I'm Gen Z technically, but I don't know. I'm definitely not a millennial, so whatever I am, I am.
To go point guard, I don't think that you can talk me off that ledge.
We already have current day Magic Johnson, and his name is Ben Simmons, and he's trash.
We had superior athletes.
You're calling LeBron a
All right, let's. Oh my goodness, Magic Johnson is a great. Ooh, I'm not gonna be able to be qualified to really speak on that.
The Bulls in 1990, I think their run was better than what the Warriors did in 2010.
Are you saying for the era what they did is more impressive, or do you think if they played in whichever era, the Bulls would beat the Warriors?
I think that if they played in this era, I think that it would be a lot more of an advantage for the Bulls, because I'm trying to imagine not being able to put hands on Michael Jordan. I'm trying to imagine Steph Curry having to deal with the switch.
Yeah, but what they would do back then is pack the paint in and beat you up. Like you can watch the film. There's very little emphasis on perimeter defense. The Warriors would give teams fits. The Warriors would win head to head. I do agree that relative to the competition, the 1990s Bulls had a greater run. I mean, they had 2 3-peats. The Warriors did not have 2 3-peats. So it's point blank. The Bulls were a better team for the era.
That you guys talk about.
But they would not beat the Warriors in the modern day. Modern day basketball is significantly better than it was, and it gets better every year.
I'm trying to imagine him having to deal with Scottie Pippen in transition or in the half court. I'm trying to imagine with the triangle offense and as much action as the Golden State Warriors run, the triangle offense was revolutionary. And that kind of action, I'm trying to imagine the Warriors trying to deal with that.
No, that's fair. Look, the physicality element of basketball, pre-hand check being banned, I mean, they would dominate on that front. It depends what the rule book looks like. If the rules are that era's rules, that era's going to win. I mean, but it depends. Again, it depends. Do they get to shoot threes? There's a lot that goes into that, right? But offensively, skill-wise, and strategically, the game has evolved to a significant degree today, and it's way better, man. It's better. I'll give them that physicality, strength, and athleticism. Type 1 athleticism were probably better and more valued in that day and age. But yeah.
Kevin Durant.
It was revolutionary for 1992.
Sure.
Nowadays, to think a team is going to come out here and have any X's and O's that are revolutionary when you have 30+ years of smart coaches making smart adjustments. Just on that level, everything that Steve Kerr knows that version of Phil Jackson doesn't have the ability to know, it would be a bloodbath in that regard. Just from pure X's and O's, the way that they're going to switch and peel back and recover, it's going to be no contest there. So I guess we can put that aside. If that wasn't a thing. You think on paper the talent level was better across the roster?
I don't think that the talent level on paper was that far apart. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can add Kevin Durant to a Warrior squad. I mean, that's like adding Shaq to the 96 Bulls. I mean, that's almost unfair. However, there are ways to neutralize things like that. And what the Chicago Bulls did, which I want to make sure that I'm clear with the run that they had. I mean, Michael Jordan, 4 to 6 years that he played on that team, they won 60+ games, including a 67, a 73, and a 69 win team. They were running through the league, a much more physical league at that time. In terms of scoring, there were teams specifically there to beat them. And the triangle offense was just revolutionary with all the action that they had.
Was it worse at offense or was it more physical? Because you could say it's more physical because they're banging around down low.
It's a fair point by him. I like OG's point too, but is it yeah, I mean, facts.
I would say today is less physical.
Very fair question.
Because the shooters are out there and it's a lot harder to bang around. Because if you're focused on banging around down low, having these enforcers on the court, you're going to get destroyed by all the skill level across the court. And it doesn't get higher skill level from 1 through 10 on the roster than the 2017 Warriors. I think if you're talking who's going to play each other today and have a chance to win a 7-game series in this year or that, not a contest there. And if you want to look at...
I agree. He makes some good points there. I think they're just a better team.
Who has a more impressive run?
But then, look, if we're playing pre-3-point era rules, and, it's going to be different, man, because how are they going to guard the Bulls? Yes, they're going to shoot threes, but at the end of the day, it's worth 2 points, right? Let's go back to that being worth 2 points. Changes things. Definitely changes things.
I think it's pretty clear the overall skill level is higher.
Now, again, this is the 90s Bulls, so for the most part, that's not going to be applicable. But, it does change. I mean, you got to think about what rules they're using. I do think, in general, it's they're just better today, period.
Across the league today, you said teams were built to beat the Bulls back then. They were built to beat the Warriors, too. It was a shorter run, so I guess you saw less of a league-wide roster construction. But we had the Rockets, who is arguably just as good, if not better, than Jordan himself.
Right.
And they beat him multiple times. So I don't know what you give to the Bulls besides longevity, which, they stuck together longer. Good for them. They had to break in the middle to revitalize themselves that Kevin Durant didn't give the Warriors a chance to do.
Right.
So besides longevity, I don't think they peak better. I don't think they would 1v1. I don't think they play tougher competition. I'm not sure why they get the greatest dynasty of all time over the Warriors.
Well, you just mentioned something that was really interesting. The greatest part about having the burden of proof putting on you, you have to make sure that you give that person things that they can't explain. So, for example, you just talked about them having the run that they had, the Golden State Warriors, and sure that they lost to some teams. Well, the Bulls didn't lose to anybody. The Bulls went 6-0 during that run.
If we ignore the year they lost,
and the teams that they lost to, the Golden State Warriors in particular, they had the biggest collapse in NBA history. They actually won 73 games. Not only did they win 73 games, they were up 3-1 in a series and could have won. That never happened to the Bulls in any stretch.
Yeah, the Bulls were more dominant for the era for sure. I don't think it's a debate. But I don't like that argument, the 6-0 thing. Like, they didn't make it there before that. You know what I mean? They were losing to the Pistons. They were losing to whoever else. I don't think you can use that as a to give them the benefit of the doubt and be like, oh, well, they won every time they made it to the finals. What about the times they didn't even make it to the finals? That's a ding. That's not a positive. But, of course, 6 rings is better than the Warriors' 4, I believe. It's just, it's the Bulls all around are better. But the 6-0 argument doesn't make them better. They're just better because they are better. In relative to the era.
Referencing pre-KD. That's like me referencing early.
We're going to move on. We're going to move to a different talking point here.
Pedestal that people that watched the game back then hold it to because of the memories they have associated with it. They're not rooted in logic. It's just purely emotional. All the reasons that exist today and why players are better today, teams are better today, that's all true. And maybe people take it too far to diminish what happened because naturally everything progresses.
The 90s were probably the golden era of basketball, man. That's when basketball was the purest. Now, of course, I mean, when I say pure, like it's changed now. It's changed. It was the most integral to its core, what it was and what it was intended to be, probably in the 90s and early 2000s. Then it started becoming a profit incentive, and now the rules have changed, so you can call it pure in its current form in a different way, but I feel that it's gotten away from what it was. It was basketball, man. It was basketball. It was a contact sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was basketball. At the end of the day, these are great athletes that are also skilled. Now you see more of like, these are great, very skilled guys who are athletic. It's different. You see what I'm saying? It's different. Back then, these are great athletes who are also skilled. Exceptional athletes, some of the best in the world. Tallest, biggest, strongest, fastest, jump the highest. And they're skilled at this. Look at what they're able to do with this, right? With this basketball. Now it's, look at what these guys are able to do with the basketball, and they're kind of athletic. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take away, like, but you know it, bro. Look, the dunk contest ain't as lit no more. Like, the shit is just different, bro. Shit's just mad different. Like, we got a couple really, really good athletes, type 1 athletes, but it's not as much of a focus now because the skill is a bigger deal because the rules have changed to take away the strength out of the game. Strength is no longer necessary. Physical strength.
It all comes down.
I don't know if it's emotional because, I mean, we can talk fact. I mean, I think about the players that played in the 90s, the athlete that was in the 90s. There were some ridiculous athletes in the 90s. And since you're talking about media, I'm trying to imagine what the media, and this dude is going to argue.
All right, I want to talk about this.
For Kobe Bryant, he got a Boston Celtics sweater on.
All right, who's your top 5?
James, Jordan, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell.
Kobe Bryant, high stretch.
Russell in the top 5 is absolutely ludicrous. He must be talking about relative to the era. He must be talking about relative to the era. Like, relatively to the era, yes, Bill Russell was top 5 all time. He won 11 championships. But Bill Russell was a 6'9" shot blocking center. I came up with that argument, by the way, years ago. And now everybody in these TikTok chat rooms uses it. I came up with that shit when I was in college, like 8 to 9 years ago. It's over, bro. Like Vince Carter, right? Bill Russell does not belong on any top anything. My guy. Bill Russell would be like one of the. I don't know if he'd make an NBA roster today. Like honestly, like come on, bro. Like you're talking about a guy who was just a shot blocker at 6'9". Think about that in the NBA today. First of all, that wouldn't even work. A shot blocker at any height. Wembanyama's 7'6", and his shot blocking is great. Obviously, that's a huge whatever fucking height he is, 7'5", whatever. That's huge. That's a great factor. But like even then, they can spread him out and get away from him and move the ball away, and it's gonna be hard for him to really contribute just off of the face of shot blocking. If he wasn't such an offensive threat, he wouldn't have a place on the court. So. I mean, yeah, that's Bill Russell being up there just tells me everything I need to know about dude's top 5, OG's top 5.
Where he had 54 games in a row. You see James do that. Or Kobe's not as good as James, but you see Bill Russell do that? He doesn't. Bill Russell played in a league where there were 8 to 14 teams. He won a lot of those championships. He didn't have the competition. I mean, Kobe, they went back-to-back. They took down a good Celtics team in 2010, that big three.
Yeah, this guy is just a perennial gooner. You can tell. I'm not gonna hate on him, but this is a video game gooning boy.
We had 81 points. That's the second most of all time.
So to your point, number one, Bill Russell, 4 years straight.
He's making a good point though. Gooner over there is a smart fella because he's actually like saying what needs to be said and making good points, whereas this guy is a little bit delusional.
20-20 in the playoffs.
I'm not gonna, dude. Kobe top 5 or not is such a. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about it. All right. Like I'm not gonna tell you what my top 5 is. I would say Kobe is squarely in my top 5, like just inside the top 5. Mine is probably LeBron, KD. Of course, this is not in order. MJ and LeBron are in there. I think KD is in my top 5. Steph Curry's in my top 5. Kawhi Leonard, I like Kawhi Leonard. Kobe's up there somewhere. You know what I mean? And Steph, look, man, my top 5 skews towards offense because offense is so important in this game now. But, yeah, I got a whole different, Shaq has got to be up there. I got a whole different framework of viewing this. Most people are going to disagree with me completely when I talk about my top 5, and they're going to say I'm crazy. But anyway.
As a separate, Chamberlain could say that they did that. Lajuan, Jabbar, none of them dudes could say that. Chamberlain and Russell, the only 2 dudes could say that they won. And he still holds the record to this day for the most points and rebounds combined in Game 7. He went for 30 and 40. So your 81 that you were talking about, yeah, Bill Russell, he went for 30 and 40 in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. On top of that, he's still the 3rd all-time leading rebounder in NBA history. You talked about it being 8 to 14 teams. Well, 8 to 14 teams, that means that I have to see the tougher competition way more than I would.
Come on, bro. But there was no tougher competition. We're talking about like 18-25. Like they didn't play, bro. They didn't have, no. The game was, no, bro. No. We're not gonna do that. Tougher competition? What tougher competition? Where? Like, what are you talking about? He was 6'9". He just blocked every shot and won every championship. Like, no, bro. No. Now we have 6'9" guys now who can't crack a roster. There's 6'9" guys. I know a 6'9" guy personally. He didn't make it to the fucking he didn't play Division 1 and he could jump. He was a very good athlete. Rock Popovich. I actually talk about him a lot. This is like the 3rd time I brought him up on this channel. Nah, 2nd time I brought him up on this channel. 6'9" Slovenian, something like that, whatever, it's all the same, right? No, I'm kidding. But could jump out the gym. Like I saw him catch some mean putbacks in practice and shit. Didn't go D1. We're talking about a 6'9" guy that was blocking shots. Won 11 championships. What are we talking about? Come on.
So if it's 8 to 14 teams in the league, instead of me having to see the Trailblazers, who are 3 games out of the play-in today, and they end up in the playoffs, instead of me having to see them in the first round of the playoffs, I got to see Oklahoma City in order to get to the NBA Finals. That's only a 1 playoff series. That's why I have to see immediately to get to the NBA championship. If I'm in the Eastern Conference and instead of me having to see the Chicago Bulls to get to the NBA or Charlotte to get to the NBA Finals, I have to see Cleveland in order to get to the NBA Finals right from the beginning.
You don't, because you are Cleveland, Chicago, and the Warriors and the Lakers and everybody put together because you're Bill Russell. All right, we're gonna move on. That's I don't like that. That's not having Russell, not having Kobe in the top 5. Okay, I can understand that. Having Russell in your top 5, nah.
Stepped up, or you want to get more words in? Now is your time.
I have to listen to this all the time when it comes to OGs and young fans, and the word is NBA young fans understand the game better than OG fans. Oh, shit. Hello again. Hello, dear.
So, now we have NBA Twitter, we have ESPN app, we have the Real app, we have everything, we have Stat News, we have...
That doesn't matter though. I actually agree with him on this. For the most part, I think OG fans have a better understanding of how the game works on the court than than people in my generation or younger. Because people in my generation rely on this bullshit. The narrative has been watered down so much by this analytics, statistical shit that you see, like, oh, his PER, his this, his that. Like, bro, that's not really that relevant, right? Like, we're talking about statistics that aren't. Yes, they're imperfect. Like, they're not gonna capture everything, and you have to use like an amalgamation of all these stats to come to like an understanding of a part of a guy's game and how it works on paper. In game, it's different, bro. Basketball's about your personality, about your soul, bro, about the work you put in, about like it's about mad shit. You can't boil that down to any amount of numbers. It's just not gonna happen. So this shit she's talking about, Fugazi already.
Infinite access.
Sure.
On the internet.
To statistics, yeah, which are meaningless.
We can watch every game on XYZ streams. Mm-hmm. We have everything. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Doesn't mean you understand the game, right? Just because you can watch it.
OGs didn't have that.
A lot of people watch it for entertainment value. They don't actually have a true understanding of the game.
No, we didn't.
So how could you possibly keep up with everything going on?
Well, just because you have it does not mean that you understand it. I mean, you could be in class
Facts.
and you can see all the information. That doesn't necessarily mean that you understand it. So with that being said, I wish that we had Stat News and Basketball Reference and all of that stuff back then, because I could understand the game way better back then than I do now, because I can put numbers together. I can understand how action works. I didn't have that back then. All I saw was plays. A lot of these people, which you just brought up.
Yeah, facts. There you go. You got to watch it with your own eyes and see what happened, try to process it. And it's just it just gives you a deeper level of understanding than, you know, to actually have to. The only sources you get of the game, if you love it, are playing it, being coached, or watching it, and putting your analytical cap on and watching stuff. And you know, the thinking is done for us these days by talking heads, and you know, it's diluted.
Twitter, which is a cesspool, by the way. And
okay, speaking of that, the older generation gets tricked by NBA Centel.
I get tricked by NBA Centel. If I'm scrolling quick, bro, and I see some shit, I'm like, oh, like, you know, Greg Popovich jumped off a plane and suicided. Like, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, and I'm gonna look at, and then I'm gonna be like, oh shit, okay, that's some fake ass account. But you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really mean much. I mean, but it is goofy though, I guess.
Your fans can usually tell.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been tricked by NBA Centel. 100%. I've been tricked by NBA Centel. Okay. So that's where you have to start paying attention more.
The media literacy. It's not.
Yeah, well, because when I see things, immediately I'm like, Joel Embiid is retiring. Wait a minute. But then now I have to like, wait a minute, hold on, that's not legit. And then I look and I'll say, let's say NBA Central, it says, okay, so this is a troll, no doubt about that. So in terms of understanding the game more, I don't want to disrespect you as a younger fan, but there are some things that I do know about the game more than you do. But I also think
you are the OG.
But with that being said, there are some things that you could teach me too, and I just don't.
He's being nice, bro. No, there's not. There's not fucking a goddamn thing. Not her. Shit, and maybe some people in the generation who are actually not casuals involved with the game. Definitely not her. The fuck are you talking about? She's a Twitter user, bro. Like, that's not a basketball human.
I don't want it to be just an idea that I just know more than you. Keep your mouth shut. You don't know what you're talking about.
Agreed. Yeah, you can't do that. That's not what we're saying. But yeah, she don't know more than you though. Like, obviously, you can iron sharpens iron. And shit, so.
Shut up and listen to me. No, I don't want that to be the case neither. But I also don't want it to be.
But a lot of these guys, like, this dude's never played basketball. Look at him, bro. Look, if he played basketball, he wouldn't be able to carry that gun up and down the court, man. Like, come on, bro. What are we talking about?
Oh, you're old. You have no idea what you're talking about. The game was in the 1960s. The game.
This guy probably shoots 10% from three and can barely touch the bottom of the net. I mean, like, at the end of the day, doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about or they can't provide value, but what perspective are they really bringing? They're just bringing a casual fan perspective and saying bullshit. This guy's smart. I'm not trying to say to take away from him, but, like, I mean, for him to be like, oh, you know, you might be able to teach me something. Fuck no.
It's the 1970s and you haven't evolved. Yes, I have, because I love what's going on in the NBA.
Maybe, right? Maybe. Like, a blind squirrel finds a nut once a day or whatever the fuck they say. A broken clock's right twice a day. That doesn't mean that you need to be, like, looking to actively learn from this individual. I mean, if of course, if something falls out of the sky onto your lap and you want to go look into it deeper and consider it, yeah, sure, but I don't know.
Today, as opposed to what was going on 20 years ago. I love what's going on in the NBA today.
I got good again.
You made a fun argument.
And our final three.
She said she got cooked again. I don't think she got cooked, but here we go. Here's this guy. Let's see.
Hello again.
I think it's inarguable that the average fan today understands way more about the average fan back then. You can't compare OGs to young bucks. You can't compare a flip phone to a smartphone. You can't compare a VHS tape to streaming services. One is inarguably better, and with the amount of access that we have today,
Yeah, but he has the same access though. Like, what are you talking about? This dude. They come on here and act like, you know, like I know how to use an iPhone, so I'm better than you. Like, dude, he's on TikTok doing lives and shit. You don't think that these dudes know how to use motherfucking Twitter? Like, come on, bro. It's not that complicated, dog. You're not a fucking rocket scientist, buddy. You fat fuck. You don't. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Oh, dude, we have Twitter. We have NBA reference. Dude, fuck your. But what the fuck are you talking about, man? What? That dude's got the same shit in his hand, same exact thing, bro. Like, what? And he's got decades of experience over you. Like, what the fuck?
we can watch more. You had to wait for a certain time and watch a game and watch a rerun to even...
Had to, and you had to wait to be born, bro. Like, let me be real. I never watched Michael Jordan play. I had to go watch that film. I don't have the same perspective on Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. That's why I skipped over this topic. It says Magic Johnson is a GOAT, right? I skipped over the topic for a reason, because I am not familiar with Magic's game like that. And that's because I wasn't even born. So that's an advantage for them. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not the other way around. It's crazy.
and watch that game. You had to rely on what's on national television and also hearing what those people are saying to you. With the influx of content creators, NBA League Pass, I could watch anything I want, whenever I want, at whatever time I want. Yep. The access to information is different. Yep. That's why the modern fan today is way smarter than the average fan back then.
You would think that would...
If that's what you're saying, then okay. I mean, I still don't know, bro. I don't know.
be the case, considering your access to information.
I think what happens, though, when you have this access to information is you have outsiders come in and be able to pollute the narrative. Like, back in his day, bro, you had people who knew basketball, and that was it. Other people didn't really talk about basketball. They might have been like, oh, I went to Michael Jordan's game. He was so good. Wow, it was so cool. Chicago's a great city. That's it, though. They're not going to go talk about, like, you know, MJ's fucking performance efficiency, like, you know, urination rating or whatever the fuck, halftime urination rate, these statistics they got now. Now we got you, bro. Like, you got, I'm not trying to take away from people, but, like, we got people who literally do nothing in basketball at all. Like, they don't actually, like, but they're talking about it. Like, that'd be like me talking about soccer, right? How much would that fuck the game up? Unless I actually put in the work to understand soccer and like, start doing shit, right? Like, it's, you know, I don't know. The narrative is fucked up. Clip culture is crazy. I would say it's actually worse now, personally.
And only except I hear some of the dumbest stuff that I've ever heard in my life from you guys.
And I hear some of the
Facts. What he just said.
dumbest stuff from OGs.
Right, and the reason why is because we didn't have the information that you have today. And since you're on the subject of
No,
streaming,
you guys have the same information.
Since you have stuff like streaming services, League Pass sucks. League Pass is awful.
YouTube TV is not that.
I've actually had to unplug my TV.
YouTube TV is good.
My TV because I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it. No, that's not the problem. League Pass just sucks. I understand the game, and not just me. I feel like there's a lot of other people who understand the game that's my age that recognize that the game is a lot better today than it was. I can't live back in, no, get me wrong now, Joe. There is a guy walking around today that's saying he's 80-something years old. It's like Bob Cousy's the best point guard in NBA history. He's still doing that. I'm not one of those dudes, and I know plenty of guys, because we live in the information age, and because I've accessed that information to understand the game, so I can sit here and talk to you, and talk to the rest of you guys, and have a legit conversation, and not look like a complete goofy, because I understand what I'm talking about, because of the information age.
You're not the measuring stick for the average old fan.
Yes, I am.
I think that you are of the age group, but you don't represent them because...
I'll say this. Kevin coached basketball. Some older coaches definitely suck. And it's because they're not quick to adapt. As you get older, You keep like I kept the same phone for like 5 years. In my 20s, I had an iPhone 13 Pro Max. When I was a kid, I would have, if I had an iPhone 9, I was getting the iPhone 10, at least the 11. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to be behind the curve like that. And then this shit, I got the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It got mad features, right? Because I just upgraded. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Because time passes and you don't think about that kind of thing anymore. You start to like become like, okay, like well, I got this phone, like it is what it is, right? Because it doesn't feel like time's going on, like that much time has gone on. And so with older coaches, I feel like that happens with basketball. They don't want to learn the new offense, this shit, oh, we can hedge here and then have this rotation here and do that. That way, this is a tougher pass and a tougher read to make for the point guard. We can switch in and out of this defense and this possession. Like there's new shit that comes out that people don't be on top of. So I actually want to say, like, I know a lot of old coaches that do suck. Anyway, though, I'm gonna close this out. It was good talking to y'all, man. Merry Christmas. Take care of yourself. Peace.